Hi, I'm Eddie Mello, and welcome to Car Habit Garage. This is my personal vlog about me building my E36 LS3 M3 resto mod. In today's show, we're going to talk about the interior options and the decisions I need to make. So, with that, let's get into it. So, as you can see from the first sets of pictures I have, around the interiors of the M3. I currently have the first picture, which is the black standard interior inside of my E36 M3. I really like the GT series cars. They only made a few of them. There were the Imola Red GT2 version that people call, and then there was the actual true GT3, which was a or GT M3 GT, which was a had the Mexico leather and the Alcantara bolsters, etc. And then it had liberal use of a carbon fiber type looking substance. I think it was carbon fiber, regardless, around the console things there, and that's pretty cool. I'm not such a fan of that carbon fiber, but I really like how they did it. How the Alcantara they used around that with the Mexico green in the GT car. But I searched the internet and I actually found someone who took yellow inserts and did something similar, actually probably nicer seats. And I just think it's too much to have the door cards in yellow and the seats in yellow. That's just my personal taste. So I decided against that. And then, as you guys know, this is kind of a Radwood special. I really wanted to stay close to what the car looked like, and I love the Vader seats. So even though I tossed around ideas about using some really nice Recaro seats that were both heated and you could get them cooled as well if you wanted, I decided to keep it with the Vader seats. And so, there's lots of trade-offs when you're talking about spending money in interior. So right now, I'm going to try to keep this thing within a reasonable budget, but add a couple nice touches that kind of make it different and showcase the car itself. So with that, let's kind of jump into it. And then I just want to show you the first few pictures I have here are really around what I currently have. So I bought this car specifically because it had a very nice interior. It wasn't really ratty. Some of the parts for E36s are still available, but they're really hard, especially the door cards. The door cards are really, you can recover them, but they're notoriously, they fall apart, they look crappy. This one, even down where the seams are in the mat pockets, they're all nicely still glued, they're staying, it looks really good. So that's what I have. As you can see from a couple pictures, I have your standard black interior with the grayish type dashboard. Not super in love with the dashboard material. I mean, if you really wanted to make this thing up, I probably would cover it in leather and do some stitching on it, but I'm not going to do that. And then I have the person I bought it from had the original four-spoke steering wheel, which I'm not a super fan of, and they have a small, probably about a 360 millimeter Momo Alcantara suede type of racing wheel in there. I'm going to get rid of that probably, but as you can see, it's in really, really good shape. In fact, I would say the interior was probably an 8 out of 10. And the door cards are probably somewhere between 8 and 9 out of 10. So really, really good. The only part was, there's some issues with some of the driver's seat on the Vader, just from, normal wear. But, so if you look at this next slide, the glove box, no sag, which is traditional with E36, so it was really good. It came with some like Turner Motorsports, the aluminum pedal coverings and the dead pedal. It looks great. Probably have to adjust because I now have a electronic fly-by-wire with the LS swap, but not an issue. I'm going to go with those pedals. It looks great. And another picture of my actual door panels. You can actually see if you blow up the pictures that it's very clean. And with that, we'll kind of move on. I think, those were really good starting points. So let's kind of get into the plan for what I want to do with my LSM3 interior. The first is install a flat bottom Euro 3 spoke steering wheel with yellow stitching and perforated leather. Easy for me to say. There'll be a yellow stripe at the very top so you know where center is. And I'm actually procuring that. I'll show it to you later on, but it's probably going to be as a auto wheel. Second thing is I want to install an OEM armrest and recover in black Nappa leather with yellow stitching. My car did not actually come with the optional armrest, so we'll do that. I'm going to change the shift boot and the parking brake to Nappa leather as well, and I'm going to also add light yellow stitching to that. I need to repair the driver's side foam and bolsters on the Vader seats. And then I would like to add seat heating elements to both the driver and the passenger side and install the OEM switches in the center console that you can see. Other thing I'll be doing is installing Apple CarPlay with the iData Link module and new speakers, a subwoofer, a brand new amplifier, and then I'm going to delete the onboard computer. I'll show you that a little later on. Install a backup camera because now I'll have an Apple CarPlay unit. I'm going to refresh the instrument cluster. I'm going to put new lights in it. I'm going to add the new little M badge, and then we're going to add aluminum rings. And I'll get a little more detail with each one of these. The shift knob right now, I'm not sure. I really like the look of the ZHP shift knob. Or because I'm going to have a T56 Super Magnum in the car, I'm also looking at like there's a C6 shift knob that actually looks pretty nice. And then there's assorted things that need to be fixed in the interior that were broke when I sent it back to Jake at Classic Daily, and that is the sunroof needs a motor and needs to be repaired. Make sure it opens and closes fine. Both windows go up and down, but they stick. They have issues, so we think there's some pain points there. And then it has the keyless entry alarm. It works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't, so we need to kind of look at that and figure out what needs to be fixed with it. So let's get to the first thing. So here's an actual picture of the perforated leather flat bottom Euro 3-spoke wheel with stripe. And imagine this one, it's got a white stripe on this picture, but imagine with a yellow stripe and yellow stitching. It's going to be great. I love flat bottom wheels. And I like that Euro look. So I actually purchased this wheel from As Auto Wheel, and it cost me about $695. And they say it's about 30 to 40-day lead time. The next thing I did is I need to install the OEM armrest, recover it in black Nappa leather, and add the yellow stitching. I got a excellent condition armrest with the center console for $275 off of eBay. Looking forward to having Jake install it. Third thing here is, so let's go to that. I want to talk a little bit about the black Nappa leather and the yellow stitching for the ebrake boot, armrest, and shift boot. If you can see in the pictures, this is the type of stitching I'm going to do. The picture on the it's actually an E46, but it tells you kind of the stitching. I'm going to have yellow stitching with dark black leather on both the e-brake boot, the shift boot, and the armrest itself. And the pattern I'm going to use for the shift boot is exactly what you see in the other picture there. I know I won't have a wooden shift knob. And then obviously, let's get to like the cornerstone. I think when you're inside the car itself, it's the Vader seats, right? So the driver's side, both seats were actually taken out of the car when I bought it. The person I owned for it, he actually used to race it, and he had some I had some Recaro seats in it that were for his club racing. And so the the Vaders were in pretty good shape. The driver's side needs to have the foam replaced so that you have the padding, and it also needs the one bolster has a slight bit of wear, not much. So we're going to go ahead and replace all that, and then the goal is to add heated seat elements and put them back in the console, as you see in the two pictures I'm showing right now. This decision isn't final whether I do the heating; it's whether I can find the elements or not. I'd like not to spend more than $1,000 to $2,000 to get this to happen. So we'll see how that works out, and I'll update you guys as I do my build updates. The next thing is I'm going to install a Kenwood Apple CarPlay unit. I've purchased all the gear. I probably spent about $3,200, and I'm also purchasing an iData Link Maestro RR, which actually allows to take the CAN bus signals off of the LS3 and display them on the Apple CarPlay screen. So that's pretty slick. That allows me to delete the OBC, the onboard computer, and then I'll push the climate controls down, and then I'll leave the sunglass holder there. So I think it'll be nice and clean, and having a backup camera, having the gauges is going to be really sweet. I'm actually going to put together a video once I get the stereo all installed with the subwoofers, the amplifiers. I'm going to probably use, I'm using focal speakers, and I'm only going to install a tweeter in the door. So I'm going to go with 6x9s in the back, and then the 5 1/4, I think, or 5.5 inch focals in the kick panels. It's going to be pretty slick, but about $3,200 to do all this for the stereo. And then we're going to get to the instrument cluster. So with the instrument cluster, there's not a lot you can do, but so what I want to do is just kind of replace the M badge, make sure it's fresh. I want to replace all the lights to make sure that they're nice and bright and everything's working correct. I don't have any outages today, but make it nice. And then put some nice aluminum rings around it, kind of make it look kind of E46 M3 style. I think that'll be a nice touch, especially with that new Euro flat bottom wheel in there. And then the last picture I want to share with you. Oh, by the way, I think that's going to be about $50 in materials plus whatever it costs to put it in. And then between the ZHP shift knob or the Corvette C6 shift knob, I think that's kind of it's going to be really what will fit on the T56 Super Magnum. I like the look of the ZHP. Obviously, the shift pattern's reverse. In BMW transmissions, a reverse is to the left and all the way up. And on the T56 Super Magnum, it's all the way to the right and up. So that will be kind of got to get the right looking shift knob and then have the right shift pattern on it. So I think that's a lot. So if money were endless, I would probably do a few different things. But I wanted to stay pretty close to what the E36 M3 had originally, and I think this is going to have just enough touch of modern convenience. With some really cool yellow stitching to match the bright Dakar yellow that's been repainted on the outside. So hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. Hopefully you get something out of it. If you have questions, I will put all the different suppliers I've used so far. And if you like what you see, please subscribe or press the like button, or hey, even better, leave a comment. We love getting those comments in the emails. There's some really funny questions that I get on the email blog, but really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.